And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to New Earth TV Live. Good to be with all of you once again here today for this Friday episode. And of course, a lot of great information is going to be shared today as I bring in Adronis here in just a few minutes, as he'll be talking about 2024, the year of Overhaul, and giving his own perspective about this year and what we can look into, and specifically why it may be referred to as the year of Overhaul as well too. And of course, we'll be taking some live questions afterwards, either with Adronis, or again, if you guys have questions for me, or again, questions for the tarot, we'll be looking into those as well. But first and foremost, before we begin our broadcast today, we're going to go ahead and start off with some announcements.
Source Energy enhanced products to repair and rejuvenate the body. From the power of light, to crystals, to bed kits, card decks, and more. View our free samples, tutorials, and testimonials on our website, AETHERX.co.
Sorry about that, guys. I thought for sure I turned this thing back on. I clicked the button, but I guess it didn't go on. Sorry about that, guys. Oh my god, I was blabbing around for like a minute and a half. I didn't even know I was on. Sorry about that, my apologies. Anyways, as I was saying, Xmas code, Xmas22. A promo code is Xmas22 for 22% off of your order. It ends December 25th. I have the brand new Universal Organite flashlights. Sorry, not. I'm like completely in a jumble here. Let me rewind here. I have the brand new Universal Organite pyramids that have come in as well too. So I will be restocking those after the broadcast today. All three styles are here. So if you've tuned into the AETHERX website and if you've checked out the Universal Organite pyramids before, then you know what I'm talking about. But we particularly have three different styles of them. And you can order them through the website. Three beautiful different styles of pyramids. And they're very powerful once they're activated, and they can be amplified. They're radiating the source center vibration, they're radiating the organite energy, and they're radiating crop circle energy as well too. So again, all of these wonderful products are available at AETHERX.co. I'm not going to go too much into it because I've already wasted some of my time being mute. All right. So anyways, go ahead and check out the website. Use the discount here that is available now, and it's good till the end of day, December 25th. Okay. And of course, as I talked about yesterday, the Signposts is moving to Rumble. And our first episode is going to be on January 4th. It is live and uncensored. If you go to yesterday's broadcast of the signposts, and you go into the video description, you'll find the link there for the signposts on Rumble, and you can just join me there. You can feel free to add me on Rumble there also. And of course, I'm going to be doing an interview with Janine Morigo, right? Tarot by Janine. That's going to be happening on Friday, January 5th at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to have the link ready this weekend. It is going to be a Zoom webinar, okay? So it will be up here either later tonight or by tomorrow morning. Just trying to get around to it. There's a lot of things for me to take care of today. But that will be available, and you guys can join me there for free through connecting with Janine. She's going to be doing a lot of readings, right? So usually what I'll talk about ahead of time is number one, no personal questions. And number two, no emailing me beforehand to try and sneak a question in, right? You have to be a live attendee to ask questions, right? You can't just drop me a bunch of emails and say, Brad, can you ask Janine this? No, I can't. You need to be there. You need to be live. And then you can interact on Zoom and you can ask Janine questions, okay? So that'll be happening on January 5th. We don't have that much longer to wait. It's going to be here very, very quickly. So again, make sure you're here in attendance with Janine. We're going to have a really wonderful conversation together. Okay? All right. Moving on to private sessions. Like I said, I'm basically just taking a break from private sessions right now for the holidays, but you guys can still book in advance. Private sessions, healing sessions, 3-question sessions by email, and the full body source healing sessions. And of course, the nutrition scan is either an add-on for the full body, or again, you can get it on its own as well too. Okay, and I think we'll just wrap up with our last announcement here, which again is everything on the New Earth Teachings channel is backed up onto Odyssey. Website is odyssey.com/@newearthteachings. All right, I'm getting so many of these announcements. Sheesh, a lot of stuff happening. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and get started with today's webcast here on New Earth TV Live. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to bring Adronis in. Once Adronis comes through, he'll give a brief introduction, and then he'll get into the discussion, the transmission today about 2024, the year of Overhaul. Okay, so I will go ahead and try to settle myself down because I'm just like running rampant here prior to coming on the air. Get myself all settled, get myself all centered, and then I'll bring him through. Here we go. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me now, okay? My microphone is showing it's on. Hope you guys can hear me. Everything's good, okay? So I know you guys said no sound, so hopefully everything's good on my end. On your end, I should say. Everything is good on my end. Hopefully everything is good on your end too. Okay, great. All right, here we go. Terra Soul Star Sirius Adronis we are here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast being brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. What we would like all of you to do at this time is simply allow yourselves to get relaxed, get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations of Sirius, so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all of the information that we have to share. Also understand that all of the information that we shall provide today is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very hearts, beings, and souls. we have been asked to discuss the nature of what you have termed as 2024 being the year of overhaul. Now, before we get into 2024, we firstly want to talk to you about the importance of this entire decade. This entire decade is a decade of detoxification. That's really what it represents, and you can even refer to it as that. That the 2020s represents that of a detoxification decade, which means you're going to be seeing a lot of the, shall we say, debris, grime that has been all throughout your planet, to where you are now opening your eyes on a much more wider level, and you are seeing a great deal of this grime and debris that has been cultivating, all of this stagnancy that has been kept beneath you, and that it's rising up from the ground, and you're saying, what is this? What is this? Well, this would represent the stagnancy. This would represent the debris. This would represent the grime. And so what you're all doing is you're learning how to get together, gather all of that grime and debris, and being able to purge it, being able to release it from yourselves and from the earth entirely. That is what this entire decade represents. So as you're going through 2023, coming into 2024, you still have a few more years to work with this detoxification. Even though as you start to move into 2025, which is a renewal period, which again represents the second half of the detoxification decade, you still have a lot more cleaning up to do. So the idea of where you feel that, well, when is this three-ring circus going to end? When is this show that again represents deception, that represents corruption, that represents chaos? When is this all going to end? Well, you have to continue to play it out throughout this decade, because there's a lot of cleaning going on. You have to understand that you have hundreds or even many thousands of years of deception upon this planet. You have, again, a great extension of debris that has been collected upon this planet. You have people on your planet who again have normalized themselves in the feeling that it is absolutely okay to live in such a fashion. This is all part of a deprogramming. This is all part of a detoxification, and the entire decade is needed for an advanced cleanup, because this is a cleanup of cleanups. This is not just a few of you picking up a broom and picking up a dustpan and just sweeping some debris off the floor. This is looking at a gigantic, beautiful palace that has been stained, that has been tarnished, that has been tainted, that has been soiled throughout every particular space that you can imagine. A once beautiful golden palace that is now completely shrouded in this filth, in this debris, in this stagnancy. And it's not going to take one person to clean up that once beautiful golden palace. It's going to take many of you, a great many of you. As you start to clean it up, as you start to work through and cooperating together, and now having a worldwide effort to clean up your planet, then that would represent the idea of this golden palace now sparkling, now shining, now radiating its brilliance once again, because the majority of the people on this planet are now doing their job. Because for the longest time you have not done your job. You were put here on this planet to function as a steward for the earth. And many of you have forgotten this. It is like an amnesia-like state, where you were brought here on this planet and you were to hold dominion over everything that is on this planet. But what has happened instead is that you have been fighting with each other, which is not part of your stewardship. You have been polluting the planet, which is not part of your stewardship. You have been harming the creatures on this planet, which is not part of your stewardship. You have been inventing technologies that are harmful to the earth, harmful to yourself, harmful to nature, which is not part of your stewardship. You have been poisoning your food. You have been poisoning your water. You have been poisoning your air, which is not part of your stewardship. You have been waging war upon other countries, other people, yourselves. That's not part of stewardship. Do you see what we're saying here? And so now you're just starting to click in. After many thousands of years, we are here to function as the stewards of this planet. The majority is now going to start to realize this. We need to start taking care of the earth. The reason why you have all of these escalations and inflammations and intensities of events taking place is because the earth is trying to tell you this is not the way to live. This is not what you're supposed to be doing. And that is why you're going to see your governments, your politics, you're going to see all of these higher ups, all of these authority figures show their true colors. Because they can no longer hide in the shadows anymore. Everything's being exposed. Everything's being brought onto the table and dumped there for all of you to see. And it's very, very important that you see this. It is crucial. Because again, that's exactly why this intensity, this is exactly why all of these extremes are being shown on the planet. It's time for humanity to return back into what they were brought here to do. And you have had thousands of years to help yourselves catch up and see who you really are. And realize that you are put on this planet to function as the stewards, to help out with the earth, to help out with the earth's creatures, to assist and to be a steward. If you are not being a steward, you are going to be rattled awake, which means the earth herself and all of the events upon this planet are going to grab you by the shoulders and jolt you and shake you and intensify in that shaking until something clicks. And so many of you in that sense may be quite bewildered by this because there are those who are still very much asleep. No matter how much you are shaking them, they just don't realize that they're still in that gaze. They don't realize that they're still having that, shall we say, dream of feeling that everything on this earth needs to be provided for them and that they don't really have to do that much and that they're relying upon their own physical senses. And people like that will leave the earth still asleep and they will come back again. And they will come back into other lessons that will help them to understand how to break out of their trance. But there are those of you who have broken out of your trance. And it's those who we're primarily speaking of. Help your dear brothers and sisters as you firstly help yourself. Work on yourself. Bring yourself into the state of correction. Align yourself into what is the truth. What is the heart telling you? Open yourself up in that way. And as you start to open yourself up and as you start to make yourself clean, you will be able to assist others to helping them become clean. This is very important before we tell you a little bit more about 2024. So realize that this is a detoxification decade, the decade of detoxification, and there's still some time to go before you see the culmination relating to corruption leaving your planet. All right? So, let's take a look at the year of 2024, which has been termed as the year of overhaul. When you are looking at 2024, it is quite correct that this is going to lead much more into an action era. As we've talked about, that at the end of 2024, moving towards the winter solstice, there will be what we would term as an inverted winter solstice taking place. What does that mean? That means that this particular solstice next year of your time that is coming is going to basically unfold the singularity. The singularity to all life will move itself into an unfoldment. And this unfoldment will continue to intensify every single year afterwards, leading up into a culmination point where the complete and total unfoldment of the singularity happens. Which means this is one of the sequences leading towards a very large event. And that when this starts to unfold tremendously, this is where you're seeing a very large transformation on your planet taking place. Everything that you have felt, that you have been used to, is basically going to go through a tremendous amount of change. And this, again, is why 2024 as the year of overhaul is appropriate. Because everything's going to be looked at, everything's going to be scrutinized, everything is going to shift. You are going to see the collapse of so many of these old systems that can no longer bear the weight. They are basically being supported by rotted wood. And that wood is now going to splinter and it is going to break. And all of these foundations are going to tumble into the sea. And that is what is taking place. You will also receive assistance in unseen places a great deal more. Adronis, what does that mean? Which means there are new tenants coming upon the planet getting ready for their new roles. And these tenants are ones that you can't see. These new tenants are ones that are going to be coming upon the earth, existing, as we have talked about before, pertaining to pocket dimensions. And they are going to be assisting in the upliftment. These are what we would refer to as specialist tenants. But they are temporary tenants just to help, shall we say, assist the earth along in regards to this detoxification process. So what do these specialist temporary tenants, what are they here to do? Well, they will again work much more in the background. They may reveal themselves to people in that sense that have relevance in regards to what they need to see through them. They will help to provide visions. They will help to provide innovations and thought encouragement for people to take action. Brad has talked about previously relating to what is termed as beings known as the disruptors. Well, these are not disruptors, these are specialists. And these specialists will function as a type of ground crew, and they will be occupying cities by the thousands. And they will be working together and helping to encourage a greater, shall we say, thought field to culminate. And that thought field is going to represent a counteracting to where there has been a great deal of obtrusive vibrations upon this planet. This particular initiative will be launched around your March month of 2024. Approximately the March month of 2024 is that you will start feeling some differences taking place in the air. You will start noticing that these specialists themselves will be again gathering around pretty much most of the major metropolises of the planet. And they will be here by the thousands, but you will not be able to see them. They will be working in the pocket dimensions as we talk about. And they are working together to counteract much of the bombarding frequencies that has led to the idea of this heavy, shall we say, fog, this dense fog that has been around your planet for a very long time. It is also very important to understand that there have been certain people on your planet that have been talking about your 5G technology. All right? Your 5G technology is going through a massive shift, we want you to know. The original intention for the 5G technology, particularly what you would refer to quite commonly as the 5G towers, were operating on a band to what you would know as the 60 hertz frequency. But they are now starting to be rebuilt, which means there is changing of circuitry within many of the towers themselves. In fact, this is already happening right now. That they are going to change the outline of the 60 hertz frequency to 432 hertz frequencies. So this is the same vibration as your sun. Now it is not complete. However, we estimate that it will be completed around the times of late 2025 to early 2026. Leading into the idea of many of the towers, we would say the great majority, at least 99%, by late 2025, early 2026, where the 5G towers will now be operating on a 432 hertz band. As this represents a sacred frequency, it will not lead into anything pertaining to detrimental frequencies. A lot of the technology that is being used, that the humans are now providing right now, has been offered in suggestion by much of the off-worlders. That you go and you start working together with certain crews that will go to many of these particular towers. We're not trying to give too much attention here about what is taking place with the towers, but you will go there and you will put this particular technology into every single tower. And it will operate on a 432 hertz band. At some particular time, you will move into 6G technology. And this 6G technology will also be operating on a 432 hertz band. That's not for a while yet, but that will be a time ahead that when there is time to update, moving into 6th generation, this too will operate on the 432 hertz frequency. All right? So we could basically say that your 5G towers that many of you were very threatened by are now being rendered harmless. And this completion will take place by late 2025, early 2026. That is very, very profound news to share. All right? So again, this is what many of the specialists, the off-worlders, we have also termed them as the human guardians, are assisting humanity in working together with. That they are basically offering specific instructions, ensure that the technology of your 5G is calibrated now to the 432 hertz frequency and not the 60 hertz. 60 hertz is what is detrimental. 60 hertz is basically what is being utilized to try and calibrate your frequency to try to maintain an equilibrium of a lower band. And that is therefore being nullified by late 2025, early 2026. All right? Another important thing to understand is, yes, you will start to see changes of leadership taking place upon the planet during this 2024 year. Now, again, each country will have its own particular progression towards this. Some, in that sense, may notice that that leadership will change quite quickly for some countries, and some may take a little bit more time. But nonetheless, there is going to be seeds planted to therefore institute, as you would say, transitional government. And this transitional government, as it is termed, is only temporary. So that, again, new leaders can come together and there will be a lot of reforming pertaining to old ways. As Brad was sharing the last day of your time, pertaining to the nature of many countries moving much more into a constitutional law. That is exactly where things are going. We cannot guarantee that all countries will be there in 2024, but there will be those who will be taking steps towards that. We basically estimate that the majority of countries to moving into much more of a constitutional law will take place much more in your 2030s. All right. There may be some here who will start to move much more into the nature of their own constitutions, into certain states of independency. But as we talked about, when you know that a country itself is starting to move much more into independency, that is giving you the impression that you're moving in the right direction. And that is exactly what's happening. The country that has basically started to take the biggest foothold of that and move much more into the independency is your own United States of America. In fact, they may be first. So we cannot give you a particular time frame of that, but it's actually your own United States of America that is actually walking the path of the constitutional level. It is your own United States of America that is actually starting to move themselves much and much closer every single day to complete and total independency, where every single state in the United States will be independent. And it really will no longer be a United States anymore, because that is the name of a corporation. which means each state will basically prevalently relate to themselves and, in that sense, present themselves as their own state name. An Oregon, or California, or Florida, a Texas, etc. So that is exactly where it's going. We're not saying that that's going to culminate in 2024, but that is very much where the United States is going. All right? So the front leader right now really is the United States of America, that is moving much more back into their constitutional laws. It may not seem that way from what you're looking at pertaining to your, as you would say, your boob tube. All right? Your mainstream media vines telling you, oh no, there's still this democracy and there's still this and that happening pertaining to your government. No. There is major changes happening. And like we stated, you have to look at the man behind the curtain, because that's what's happening. While everything here is up on stage where they're trying to reassure you that everything's normal and everything's operating the same as it should, you're getting all of this hustling and bustling backstage because the man backstage is reorganizing everything. And when that string is pulled and the curtain is open, you will see something very, very different. The world as you know it is not going to stick around. Everything that represents the complete and total degradation of the earth is going to die. And we mean that very literally, and we can pretty much guarantee you that. Everything that has been detrimental, that has been holding back yourselves, that has been causing great illness to the earth is set to fall, is set to die. And you're going to see that this decade. Everything. Every single thing that has been detrimental and degrading to the planet and to its life will fall. Absolutely guaranteed. So that is something you're going to continue to see. Again, we cannot guarantee that this will be happening just through your 2024 year. You still have a few more years to go. There is the question, well, is it possible that the cartels, as it were, are going to be on their last legs in 2024? They will be receiving very crippling blows in your year of 2024, but you're still going to see them in 2025, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. All right? But you're going to be seeing less and less and less and less and less. And that's how it is. You have to think of this as a very large funnel. That starting your decade, it was way up here. And now it's starting to drain. And now it's starting to drain. And you're about halfway there. All right? You're not quite there yet. But you're seeing this funnel drain. That by the year of 2030, you will basically see that funnel as a point of nearly empty. Okay? Not completely, but about 97, 98% empty, where that last 2% will basically culminate in conclusion in the 2030 year itself. So you still have a bit of a ways to go yet. So as much as we would love for you to hear yourselves say, oh, it's over, the corruption is done, the light itself has prevailed, and the light itself certainly has prevailed, but you're still going through this process. You have to see all of this old debris that is now being dumped all over your table. You have to see it. You cannot live your life by burying your head in the sand anymore. You have to see this unfold, and it's everywhere you look. You cannot avoid it anymore. But everything that's happening is moving you further into something much more prosperous. This is not leading you into a dystopian totalitarianism society. That's not where you're going. So many of you think that that is exactly where you're going. It's going to be dystopian. It's going to be totalitarianism. It's going to be communism. It's going to be socialism. It's going to be horrible. Right now, the intensity that you're seeing is the only intensity pertaining to debris, or in that sense, discussions representing such natures. Dystopian, totalitarianism, socialism, communism, etc. That is what you fear. But that's not where you're going. You're bringing all of this out on the table so that you can therefore take thought action towards it. It's all about looking at these things and seeing exactly what they represent and saying, no, thank you. And you toss it away, and your thought to see a better world ahead is the world that you're going to occupy. Whereas those of you who are completely consumed by fear are going to be battling your fear again and again and again for as long as you continue to hold it within yourself. As long as you bring about fear and make that valid, that's your life. It's really what it comes down to. It's a holographic universe. It's a hall of mirrors. So as long as you continue to see fear and anxiety and hopelessness and feeling like you're all defeated and you're all going to be rounded up and you're going to be slaves for the rest of your life, well, then that's what you're going to manifest in some way, in some form. You need to be aware of this. On a collective level, you are getting out of the sludge. You are climbing out of the slime of the debris, so that you can now start to move yourself towards the light. But you still have to do the work. You see, it's not up to anybody else to show you who you are. It has to be through you. So as you move through 2024, you are going to see overhaul. You are going to see the idea of old faculties closing down and new faculties opening up. You are going to have a great deal more of assistance on your planet relating to helpers, the specialists that we have talked about, that are helping to encourage the growth of the vibration representing every single human being. They are being amplifiers. They are going to assist this, working together on much more of a psychic level to help uplift the frequency of the planet. There is a lot of detainment taking place behind the scenes. A lot of this detainment is not through what you would just term as your own, shall we say, cartels, but behind the scene cartels, we will call them as well too. They too are also being detained and taken out of here because there has been such a very large effort all over the world to try to keep the vibration of this planet in a low form. And now all of that's being shattered. That's part of the action era. Everything is being shattered, and now there's a greater upliftment that's happening. And this is why we say that the end of 2024, with the inversion of the solstice, is now leading you into watching that glass ceiling of low vibrational base operations shatter. You're basically watching an old grid on the entire planet break up into pieces and shatter. It's like looking at this old veil that has been held out for thousands of years, now getting to the point where it cracks completely and the entire infrastructure shatters. That's what you can expect around late 2024. Is the complete and total removing of an old vibratory veil, which is also going to affect the bombardments of the frequencies that were taking place upon the moon. You see, the whole idea is that if we're not able to get the moon fully in shape pertaining to all the technologies that have been bombarding, then we're basically going to take down the veil that has been responsible for enabling those frequencies of the moon to bombard the Earth, because that too is a technology. And that technology is being completely and totally dismantled by late 2024, known as the inverted winter solstice, which means we're taking an inverted pentagram and we're turning it back around. That's why we call it an inverted winter solstice, because for the longest time you have been living through the symbolism of the inverted pentagram. Now we're taking that and we're turning it around so that it is right facing. And an inversion is necessary for that. And that is what the winter solstice of 2024 will represent. The shattering of an old veil, the turning around of the life upon this planet from an inverted pentagram into a right-facing pentagram. That is profound with what will be taking place here on this planet. And you will live out through that whole year of transition, because there are already plans to enable this, but it needs to happen at a particular point, and the solstice of 2024 is the appropriate time, and nothing can stop it, because it is not the physical that is bringing this about. The physical is simply the effect. The decision has already been made from the planes of the divine. So, this is what we can share, again, at this time. Pertaining to your 2024 year, there is more to share, but at appropriate times, there will be more sharing when the stars align for us again to share additional insight on your 2024 year. We thank you very much for this interaction. We will now take a moment to return back to the conduit and begin your question and answer period. Thank you very much. Okay, great. Wow. Thank you, Adronis. That was some really powerful information there. Brought a lot of clarity, a lot of things I didn't even know. So fantastic. Wow. So we got a very, very interesting year ahead for 2024. Like I said, it's a good analogy that Adronis was giving about the nature of a funnel, right? And just kind of watching that drain a little bit more. Because I know a lot of people want to feel like, okay, well, as soon as we get into this year, after the end of this year, are we sure we're done? The corrupt are finished. They're taken care of. Is it the last nail in the coffin? Certainly is a last nail in the coffin, but again, the coffin has to be lowered down, right? And that's the remaining 5 or 6 years that we still have to go. So that is exactly what's going to be taking place. So we just have to continue to tune in, get updates, follow through as each day goes by, and as more important information comes, I will do my best to share it in the best way I can comprehend it and translate it into common language. So again, thank you to Adronis, and thank you to all of you guys. We're going to go ahead now and get started with question and answer. And then about the last 15-20 minutes, we'll go into distance healing requests. Okay, and then we'll wrap up with a group healing as well too. Okay, so it's 10:45 right now, so I think we'll probably go to about 11:15 for questions. So for about a half hour here of questions. Okay, let's go up to the top here because we do have some donation-based questions here. And like I said, guys, for the newer TV Live, any question goes. So it can be about current events. It can be about metaphysics, spirituality, anything of that nature. Just no personal questions, please. Okay, personal questions are for sessions. So again, as long as your question is semi-personal or general, it is accepted. That even includes donation-based questions. Okay. So this question here is from IM. IM had a donation-based question. Thank you for that. IM asks, is Oxytab 5 oxygen infuser a great product in helping to increase oxygen in the body to expedite healing? Now, I have not personally used this product, so I can't really answer it, but this is why we're going to go into the tarot, and we'll look and see what the tarot has to say about the Oxytab 5 oxygen infuser. I was looking at it a little bit just before coming out of the air. It looks quite interesting, okay? But let's see in that sense if it is a great product in helping to increase oxygen in the body, okay? So the question will be, is this product a good product to use to increase oxygen in the body? Let's see what the cards have to say. Okay, well, I'm getting a big confirmation that yes, it is. Okay, so there you go. That's a big confirmation right there. IM, all right. The Oxytab 5 oxygen infuser is a great product. Okay, like I said, I haven't heard of it until today, and helping to increase oxygen. So I'm not getting any sponsorship or anything of that nature. But this again is a confirmation that this is true. Okay, so maybe I might look into getting one. So hope or fear, this is great hope. This is great transformation, okay? It's basically, I'm almost seeing this as like a virus. Like the virus is dissipating. The bad health is dissipating away, right? Everything that represents the detrimental stagnancy of yourself is leaving you, okay? And then in your future, here we go, moving away from the old conflicts, moving away from old debris, getting yourself upon a healthier path. So yeah, this does feel like it is a very good product to use in regards to oxygen enrichment, and it's basically just like kind of like a fountain drink, where you're basically using a device charging up the water, taking out ozone, so that you get much more fresher and pure oxygen within the water, and then drinking it down. And oxygen therapy is actually becoming a very big thing right now. A lot of people will actually just go inside oxygen chambers, or again, they will wear oxygen masks, and they'll start getting a larger supply of oxygen. Oxygen is where it's at. That's exactly what you need to do. It's exactly what you need to use. It's not just the idea of athleticism, right? It's something that, again, if a person is very, very sick, they have all kinds of chronic conditions, they have respiratory problems, anything of that nature, you want more oxygen in the body. And I may start to work with AETHERX about that as well too, is working with oxygen-based technology, just being able to take codes and being able to place it either again in a drink or anything of that nature, even in food, and then being able to oxygen enrich it. And I think that will probably be something I'll be doing when I get the source deck finished, right? Is we'll get an oxygen enrichment card about a transmutation effect for food and for drink. I haven't really worked on the source deck that much because I've just been swamped, guys. I have had very little time to myself as of late. So I'm doing what I can. It's the holidays now, so I'll have a little bit of spare time. So I'll be working more on the source deck. I know it's been slow going. There's just been so much demand and new ideas and new development. So doing what I can to get the source deck out when I can. All right. So again, thank you so much for that question. Okay, we had a couple more donation-based questions here. Okay, so Nikki has a healing request, so we'll get to that very shortly when we get into healing. Okay. What I would suggest, guys, is if you've already had some healing sessions with me in the previous week or previous couple of weeks, I don't mind getting to you again if nobody else is in line. But I'd really like to give new opportunities for people who have not had healing yet. Okay, so Nikki, I'll certainly do yours, but I'd like to recommend other people, if you've had healing from me in the past, please don't request right now. Okay, I'd like you to wait at least 1 month. Okay, and this is just a suggestion from everybody who's already had healing from me. Okay, because I've had people come back week after week after week, and I realize it's new areas and stuff like that, but I'd like you to wait a month. Okay, so basically getting a distance healing from me, wait 1 month, and then after that you can always come back online and request, because I'd like to give the opportunity to other people who ask. Okay, but Nikki, I will certainly do your request. All right, let's go to Babito7. Babito7 asked the question, Adronis, what exactly is bliss? All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So 1 moment as I bring him back in. We thank you very much, Babito7, for your question about what exactly is bliss. Bliss would be what you would know as non-polarized contentment. That's really what it comes down to. It is the ability to be content on a non-polarized level. When you are non-polarized and coming from a place to where you have been very polarized, the idea of non-polarization feels indeed very uplifting. And bliss represents the essence of that upliftment, from moving out of duality to coming into non-duality. So the nature of bliss really does not have a polarity to it whatsoever. It is the state to where you are completely in the nature of the non-dual. It is the nature to where you are realizing your omnipresence, your omnipotence, and your omniscience. That is the sensation, as it were. The sensation that comes out of that is bliss. But as you continue to move into that alignment, bliss no longer really becomes the companion. It is now just that complete and total contentment. So, bliss is the effect of you moving into the non-dual nature of contentment. And that bliss could last quite some time. But nonetheless, the bliss will pass. Because the bliss itself is like the medium, it is the bridge that is awaiting you, so that when you cross past the duality and come into the non-duality, the bridge that lifts you up into the non-dual is the frequency of the bliss itself, moving you into that contentment. So, utilizing words in this way really doesn't do it justice, as it were. You really have to feel this for yourself. When you have lived a life where there has been nothing but chaos, where there has been nothing but duality, polarization, and then you finally come into a point of surrender, and that surrendering lifts you up. And that feeling that you have moving into the non-dual contentment. That is the bliss that we speak of. All right? We thank you for your question. Okay. Thank you, Babito7, for your question. All right. So Sunny Days did have a donation, so I'm just looking to see. Okay, so Sunny Days had traumatic brain injury. So, okay, so Sunny Days, you will be the second person that will be having a healing done on them, okay? And then there's CC Love. And CC Love, please send healing to my daughter. Okay. So, Nikki, Sunny Days, and CC Love, you will be the three that I'll be working on today. Okay? When we get into healing, which will be here shortly. All right? Just seeing if there's any other donations here. Okay, here's one from Minerva Luciano. Adronis, are angels and archangels negative beings since they are Elohim? Are there any real agendas? Are they any real angels like assigned to us when we are born that we can trust? We thank you very much for your question. Well, who is it to state that as you would term angels would be what you would term as negative beings? You see, all you're really doing is attempting to align to something that would be a representation of your own fear. Now, we know there are those of you who may even have fear pertaining to connecting with angels because you may feel that it may be too religious. It may be the result of the church, a product of the church in that sense. And if I get involved with it, then I may be taken over by these deceiving beings. We are not saying that there are not deceptive beings out there, but the whole idea in that sense is it really matters with you. It's not about the other. And this is where a lot of your experts are still so incredibly confused. They try to generalize these particular principles and feel like, oh, don't connect with these extraterrestrials because they're evil and they're negative and they'll take you over. Oh, don't try to connect to these angels because they are evil and they are negative and they will take you over. Oh, don't try to connect to these ascended masters because they are evil and they are negative and they will take you over. Do you see what they're doing? They have not even really experienced these things for themselves. They hear what other people hear and then they start to regurgitate this information because they have no personal experience through themselves pertaining to these subjects. And then they basically contaminate with the idea of trying to bring you into a feeling that if I try to connect with angels, oh my goodness, I'm going to get taken over. If I try to connect with archangels, oh my goodness, I'm going to get taken over. If I connect with any extraterrestrial, off-world, or star family, oh my goodness, I'm going to get taken over. If I connect with any loved one or any ascended master, oh my God, it's not then, I'm going to get taken over. Do you see how you're just spewing more fear again? That's not the idea. We will say this, dear humans, it is not such a fearful universe. All right? It is something that you are still battling through your own egos. And that even if you see projections coming in, these are projections that still represent your own state of doubt, your own state of disbelief, your own states of horrors, your own states of paranoia. They are manifesting in that way. And it could be a very, very beautiful being. But in that sense, they turn into something that you feel is robbing you of your own energy. But it's you that's aligning to such a reality. It's you that's aligning yourself across that bridge. Because you still have an insecurity when it comes to these particular elements that you are exploring throughout life. And this is the duality that we talk about. Be at peace with yourself. And as you are at peace with yourself, everyone and everything that comes to you can reflect that form of peace because you are taking out the taint. You see? So as we stated, we're not stating that there aren't beings in that sense that will do that. Of course there is. But those are not the true angels, and those are not the true archangels, and those are not the true seraphim. And those are not the true creator gods. Again, you have been living throughout this particular veil where there has been a duplication effect taking place, where they will attempt to disguise themselves as the most loving and enriching beings, but as soon as you see into them, you realize that there is a deception there. But that deception is only there to show you something of yourself. You see? When one in that sense is very highly naive and very highly gullible, and feeling that they can be taken advantage of quite a bit, you may encounter beings that look very, very beautiful, very illuminated in that way, but then you realize that they're secretly siphoning energy off of you. It's not because of the external. It's because about what you're feeling from within yourself, of what you are attempting to teach yourself. This is all about you teaching yourself about these elements. You see? But as soon as you have people that come on here because they have a very big following, and they start telling you, oh, don't connect with the angels, they're evil. Oh, don't connect with the archangels, they're evil. Oh, don't connect with the Elohim because they're evil. Do you even know what the real Elohim is? Some of you don't. The Elohim are not even on your plane anymore. They reside in that sense pertaining to the much more higher contrasts of life. But again, there will be imitators. So the whole idea here is that yes, it is fundamentally true that there can be decoy groups, that there can be deception groups. But if that's all you think that there is, then again, that is ignorance showing its face to you. And if that is all that these experts believe that there is, that is their own face of ignorance showing it to themselves. You see? There's a lot more to it. It's when you draw these conclusions and you draw this line in the sand and say, don't you dare step over this line because this is what we've said there is. Well, then again, that gets you nowhere. That is only going to bring stagnancy. It is only until you start to know who you are within that you realize everything without. As we stated, take this time to clean yourself. Take this time to work with yourself. Should you decide to connect with angels or archangels in that way, let it be something that's personable. Let it be something that really enriches your heart. A lot of you will go to Jesus. A lot of you will go to Buddha. A lot of you will go to these great masters in that sense. Some of you will call in Saint Germain. Some of you will call in Archangel Michael. Some of you will call in these great seraphim. Because there's a personable relationship that is so strong within you that you can't even explain how it's there. You just know it. It is like how Brad is with us. Our connection is so incredibly vast, we cannot dissect it to get an idea of what it all means. Just that it's present and that there's that love and trust in that relationship between Adronis and between Brad. Now, do you see Brad flying off the handle, thinking that he's so afraid to connect with an angel or an archangel or any other particular facet here? No. Because there again comes a particular point in your own evolution that you're getting past these things. And with all respect, many of these things, when they are absoluted in this way, becomes very, very childish. We want you to know that. This becomes very childish because you are trying to make a black and white picture out of the entire universe. And the universe is filled with color. And the universe is filled with vibration. And the universe is filled with radiance in ways that you cannot even imagine. Yet you're trying to take this black and white image and think that you know it all. You don't. The great majority of the people on your planet have no idea about how the universe itself actually works. They have no idea about the beings that reside, that function as the overseers of this universe. They can't even fathom them. Yet they draw a line in the sand and thinking, oh, this is how they are. That's ignorance. Because that's taking the black and white photo. So, we're not saying that there are not deception groups. There are. We're not saying that there aren't imitation groups. There are. We're not saying that there aren't doppelgangers, because there are. But it's through the person. It is through the entity. It is through the being that therefore recognizes these things. And because one person has that experience, they try to generalize this for every single person, and that becomes ignorance. And you need to watch for that. You see? It all just comes down to the working of yourself, to the cleaning of yourself, to the surrendering of yourself, and you will therefore know the truth. And you will not be scared because there's a word called Elohim. And you will not be scared because there's a word called Anunnaki. And you will not be scared because there's a word called Draco, or archangels, or angels, or seraphim, or creator gods, or any other name that you want to give. Because as soon as you listen to those experts who are, again, black and whiting the entire universe, you get programming in yourself. And now Elohim becomes a dirty word. And now Anunnaki becomes a dirty word. Now angels becomes a dirty word. Now archangels becomes a dirty word. You're programmed. You have been programmed and conditioned and have bought into it like a sucker. Because you're now agreeing that the universe is indeed black and white. Here's my black and white camera, rather than seeing everything in the full spectrum. You need to be made aware of this. It is through you that determines the elements that approach you. And it is through you that as you work upon yourself, as you clean yourself, as you harmonize yourself, you will see that full spectrum, and nothing will be black and white anymore. All right? That is what we want to share to you pertaining to this answer. We thank you. Okay. Yes, there's people like that are going around and basically just saying, oh guys, don't connect to the Anunnaki or don't connect to the angels because they're deceptive and stuff like that. And yeah, it's kind of like what Adronis is saying. You're right. There are some groups that are like that. But like I said, this is where people are still not understanding. This is still a bunch of new age crap that's going around the internet. Okay? And we need to be careful with that, right? This whole new age stuff about saying, oh yes, bless the Elohim, oh no, the Elohim are evil. Oh yes, bless the Anunnaki, oh no, the Anunnaki are evil. Right? It's black and white, black and white, black and white. And that's the kind of crap that you want to get yourselves out of, because that's not going to do anything for you. You need to bring your awareness here. You need to be grounded, okay? And a lot of these people that are bringing this stuff up are so airy-fairy floaty up in the air that they are not starting to tether themselves. They're not here. They're not in the body. They're worried about the Anunnaki. They're worried about the Elohim. They're worried about angels. They're worried about archangels. Will you get off your new age crap? Right? And that would be the best way to put it. Is we're just basically hovering inside new age, airy-fairy, rainbows and whiskers on kittens garbage. That's not important. Right? You do not know the universe if you're like that. Right? Where we think that every single angel that I meet is horrible. Well, that's because of you. That's not because of the angels. Right? Oh, I heard about the Elohim and I had a bad experience with it. That's because of you. That's not because of the Elohim. Right? I had this terrible encounter with that and with the Greys, and that's because of you, not because of the element. You're blaming the element for the insecurities that you are facing from within yourself. And that's the problem. And I hope those people are watching, because that's exactly what I would say to them. Right? And like I said, you guys are spending so much time in this new age bullshit rather than being able to be here and going into this neo-new age garbage and wasting your time with a bunch of stupidness rather than being here and working on yourself and helping yourselves to heal and cleaning yourself so that you can now get much more of a full view. Because all you're looking at right now is the charred black and white photo. right? And I've been dealing with people like that for so many years, right? It's nothing new. I've heard people like that talking about all that stuff all together. That these guys are so good, and that these guys are so horrible. And this guy, they basically just try to compartmentalize the universe. And even from a higher being's perspective, that is just complete and total ignorance, right? If you are compartmentalizing life and you have no idea what life is, you've never lived, right? You've done nothing but survive and live off innuendo and hyperbole and ideas of surmising and assumption, okay? And that's not going to work. You need to take some time away from what you're doing. You need to go within, and you need to start cleaning yourself out, because you are making those elements horrible. The elements themselves are neutral, okay? It's your flavor that you bring into everything that can make them truly divine or absolutely catastrophic. And I'm saying this to every single person that's watching, okay? And like I said, I've dealt with that for many years, thinking that we need to one-side everything. It's just becoming another type of cancel culture, and now we'll put cancel culture in the stars when you guys haven't even really met these beings. Or you think you have, but you haven't, right? So it's a big topic. So just be careful with people like that, right? Be very, very cautious. And like I said, if you're noticing that people are black and whiting everything, that's okay. They need to take some time to do some inner work. I think I'm just going to let them be. Maybe I'll give them a reminder, you know, you're kind of black and whiting everything. You're kind of profiling everything. And that's not really going to work here with me. And I think I just need to give you some time so that you can get over this hump, because that's what it is, right? Everything pertaining to life is vast, is beautiful, is wonderful. Yes, there's some turmoil too, okay? But like I said, if we just spend all our life in our turmoil, all we're going to see is more turmoil, right? And once you start washing that turmoil off yourself, you now see the full spectrum, right? The full spectrum is the darkness and it is the light. It's not about you just looking for the light like a moth, right? It's the idea that you're making peace with the darkness as well. And that's another thing that these people aren't doing. They're compartmentalizing everything because they're afraid of the darkness. They're afraid of their own darkness. And we just need to be airy-fairy. We need to be dancing around with unicorns and painting rainbows everywhere. And that's our life. And that's a bunch of stupidness. Okay? When you are completely at peace with your darkness, that's where you're actually making headway. It's great that you're embellishing the light. That's fantastic. But that's you being floaty. That's you just basically being very much Luciferic. Okay? And what I mean by Luciferic, this is actually going back into Rosicrucian terms, is the Luciferians are the ones that are basically airy-fairy, floaty-woaty, right? Always trying to tell you that there's the darkness and the light, and that you need to come back into the light, and that the light is here, and that you need the light. What about the light? Well, the light this, well, the light that, well, the light, right? And you're so completely out of touch with life. You're so completely out of touch with your body. You're so completely out of touch with everything that represents your environment. You're going nowhere, right? And then, of course, there's the opposite. And the opposite basically just talks about the material life. Oh, there's no such thing as spirit, and there's just our physical bodies here, and that's it, right? We call it like the atomist perspective as well, too, where it all basically comes down into the lower depths of just being in the physical, and that's out of balance as well, right? So you got to find the middle ground. You're not floating out of your body like an angelic hippie, okay? And you're not completely soiling yourself with the physicality like a hardcore materialist, right? You're bringing them together. You have to meet it at the middle, and through the middle you will understand the truth. It's really what it takes, okay? Because this is a very big topic, guys, and it's very good that Minerva brought this up, right? So thank you, Minerva, for that. It's a big discussion. I'm sure we'll talk about it again very soon. But like I said, I've been talking to people like that for years who are just so black and white about everything. And you got to be careful with that, because that's nothing but a bunch of new age garbage, right? When you're seeing black and whiters, new age crap. That's really what it is, okay? Thank you for your question. All right, let's go on to, we're going to take one more question. We're going to go into healing after that. Okay. Trinity Q asked about my website. Well, there's two websites. There's newearthteachings.com. That's where my private sessions are. There's also online courses there too. And then there's AETHERX.co. So that's AETHERX.co. And that's my metaphysical shop. That's where I'm offering everyday products that are source energy enhanced. Okay, so those are the two websites there. Okay, one more question. Okay, I'm just looking for a good one I think that will benefit a lot of people. Let's see here. So there are some good questions here, but I'm just seeing if we can find a really good one here. Let's see. Okay, I think this is a pretty good one, so I'm sure there's a lot of meditators here in this group, in the audience today. Outside the Box says, hi Brad, what would Adronis say is the most effective and potent meditation method to accelerate our ascension process? Okay. Pretty sure that's a good question for many of us, right? So let's take a look at that. What is the most effective and potent meditation method to accelerate our ascension process? Okay, one moment. We thank you very much for your question. So, a potent meditation to accelerate your progress. It really involves 3 steps. Are you ready? Number 1, be still. Number 2, be silent. Number 3, immerse yourself into surrender. That's it. That's all you have to do. Because if all you're doing in meditation is trying to visualize, is trying to chant, is basically trying to bring about powerful thinking in that way, then you're not really going into the great depths of your beingness. You're still playing with the mind. To truly move into a state that even goes beyond meditation is through the 3 steps that we share here. The ability to keep your body completely and totally still. What this does is this preserves your own prana. This preserves your own life force, and this actually helps to expand it as you work together with the breathing that firstly helps you to become in a subtle state of being, and then just normalizing your breath, just being aware of it. So after stillness, you are moving into silence. Everything is quiet. Your body is quiet because it is still. Your breath is quiet because it is now bringing itself much more into a calm state. And your mind is quiet. So that there are again no thoughts coming in. Then thirdly, moving on into the nature of surrender. Surrender is exactly what it is. Surrender is what's bringing you into the union of your own soul. It is bringing you into the union of spirit. And that's really all you need. You see, this is not even a meditation. This is just the ability for you to be still. This is just the ability for you to transcend meditation and just be in your beingness. This all comes down to being in beingness. This is not about meditation. Because meditation requires a focal point. In order for you to meditate, there needs to be something pertaining to a focal point. It could be an object, it could be a sound, or anything of that nature, but nonetheless, you have a focal point. And this is where you start to go into single-pointed focus. This is where you now start to immerse yourself as that object. And this is where you now start to transcend yourself as that object and come into stillness, otherwise known as samadhi. But this goes beyond all of that. This is just going into the nature of your own stillness, the nature of your own silence, and the nature of surrender. Which means nothing bothers you. There's no conflict. You're not concerned about the Elohim. You're not concerned about angels. You're not concerned about the affairs of your life. You're not concerned about what you did yesterday or what you're supposed to do later on. All of that fades away. All of that is just pushed away and leaves you. And now you are here. This is the most powerful state. We are not exaggerating that. This is the most powerful state. When so many of you wonder about how these great masters have been able to be great masters, it's exactly what we just told you, because all of them have done it. They've learned to be still, they've learned to be silent, and they've surrendered to themselves. And that is how they become greatness. That's the answer. But Adronis, that just feels so simple, isn't it? Because that is the way of it. Try and make yourself completely still right now, completely silent, where you're not even hearing your own breath. Everything is mute. And now go completely into surrender, where now there are no thoughts, there is nothing of the mind there, and you're basically feeling your body just expanding as one, completely into union. Can you do that right now? Do you know what many of you would say to us? No, I can't. Exactly. It's not so simple, is it? It is a simplistic definition. It is a simplistic explanation. But for you to actually accomplish this will take work. You know, it's very, very simple for us to say, all right, well, go ahead and just get yourself still. Well, that's a simple explanation. That sounds very simple. You're right, it is. But can you make yourself completely still where you're not moving a single muscle? Many of you can't. You'll squirm, you'll twitch, you'll jolt. And we said, don't move. Be completely still. See yourself like a granite statue. Don't move a muscle. Not even quiver. Not wiping your nose, not sniffing, nothing. Could you do that? No. That would take time to develop, exactly. You see, it's a simplistic request and it's a simplistic response, but it will take time for you to be completely still. And now we say be completely silent, which means you're not hearing the rhythm of your own breath. You're breathing, but it feels like you're not. Can you do that? Many of you will say no. And you get distracted by outside influences, and we say, let that all go. Be completely contained in here. Be in the inner world. And you could be in front of traffic. And again, you still don't feel like you could get into silence. You don't feel you could move into that state because there's some sort of outside interference. So again, even though it's simple for us to say, be silent, many of you can't. You need to develop it. Thirdly, we say, go into surrender. Oh, I'm still bothered about this thing that happened yesterday. Oh, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do about this thing later tonight, etc. You're not in surrender. You're still thinking. You're still a part of this world. And when we talk about surrender, this is an inner process. This is you bowing to the greatness of soul, bowing to the greatness of spirit, and that's all there is. It's you coming to terms with the truth. And the truth has no form. The truth has no words. The truth has no image. The truth has no mind. So, could you go into surrender right here, right now, just like that? Many of you will say, no, I can't. And that's fine, because you need to develop that. So, even though we're telling you something extraordinarily simple, many of you will feel that you'll falter over it. Just go and be still. Oh, well, that's simple. Okay, I can do that. And then you struggle with it. You're constantly being antsy. You're constantly moving. You're constantly shifting in your seat. Your body is still moving. You got all this energy and you feel like you have to go and do something with it. And we're telling you just to keep it all in. And then you squirm, and then you fight, and then you wrestle with yourself. So this is the example that we're teaching you. Even though what we share to you is extremely simple, the ability to do it will require development. And it may take you months. and it may take you years before you can fully surrender yourself, before you can fully be in your own silence, before you can fully be in your own stillness. But as you continue to work with it every day, it becomes more prominent. And this is the most powerful because it's you coming to terms with the soul. It is you in union with spirit. It is you in the truth. There is nothing greater than that. No visual meditation, no guided meditation, no listening to music, no doing chanting, no doing mudras, nothing. You are completely still, you are completely silent, and you are completely in surrender. That is the ultimate state. All right? We thank you for your question. Okay. Very good. And guys, exactly what Adronis is saying is completely true, right? I've been doing a lot of stillness work, silent work, surrender work for years now, right? And I'm still working on it, right? There's times where I can do it really, really well, and there's times where just the mind will not shut up, and I even do a lot of the breath work, and it will still come and go, right? So I'll have those good days and I'll have those bad days. It's something I'm still working on. But I have been exactly where Adronis has described, and I can tell you personally that is the most powerful state you will ever be in your entire nature of you, right? There's nothing greater than that once you're there, right? You got to keep working to develop yourself. You got to keep looking inside yourself. Is there still certain things within myself that I need to come to terms with, that I need to make peace with? Am I still so biased over Elohim and angels and blah, blah, blah? Am I still addicted to a bunch of this stupid New Age crap? Yeah, okay, now I'm letting it go, right? And now it's just complete and total harmony, right? Just funny stuff like that. And that's really what it's all about. That is indeed the most powerful state. All right? Okay, guys, we're going to go now into healing. So we're going to do 3 healing requests from the donations I received. Okay? Joey put it together. Right, sit down and shut up. Yeah. Sit down, shut up, and surrender. There you go. There's the 3 S's. Sit down, shut up, surrender. You got it. Very true. Okay, so let's go up to, where is it? Nikki? Yeah, Nikki. Okay. So Nikki here had the request. Hi, Brad. May I have a healing for my dad? His name is Guy. He has macular degeneration, and his doc just told him he will lose his eyesight in 2 to 10 years. He gets painful shots directly into his eyes. Well, firstly, tell your dad not to take that at face value, right? Not even to take that at face value. With all due respect, a lot of these doctors will basically just use statistics in that sense. And this is something that, again, their face of ignorance shows themselves. They're still not seeing that everybody is unique, okay? And the whole idea is that your father, whether he's using AETHERX or anything of that nature, but again, as he starts to walk more towards a healing path, he'll be able to keep his eyesight in good condition as long as he's able to make some lifestyle changes, okay? So like I said, I do have something like the visor sunglasses on AETHERX. Like I said, that restored my eyesight within 8 to 12 weeks. I had very blurry vision. I was constantly looking at the chat like this, always moving it forward, and now I can see it with great clarity, right? So I used those glasses for 8 to 12 weeks. I also used my organite necklace as well too, okay? And that helped to really just repair everything. After those 8 to 12 weeks, left eye was completely repaired. My left eye was the bad one here. And that was the one that was constantly giving me blurry vision. And now all of that blurriness is gone. I'm very thankful for that, okay? So like I said, whatever a doctor tells you guys, don't see it as the gospel, okay? With all due respect to these doctors, and I'm sure they're wonderful people, but as a professional, they hardly know anything, right? They hardly know anything about how the body works. They hardly know anything about the body's natural ability to regenerate. They hardly know anything about working together, especially with your own inner power to heal everything. And you know what happens with many of these doctors? When you come back to them after about a week or two and you say, I'm all better, do you actually see them applauding you? No, they're saying, what the hell? How could you do that, right? They're getting mad because they're losing a customer. And they think that something is better than what they're offering. And that's the ignorance and arrogance that they are now starting to see face to face, right? Their ignorance is coming to them. So please don't take what you hear from a doctor at face value, right? Again, much love and respect to them, Okay, they are our family, of course. But like I said, on a professional level, a lot of them don't even know what the hell they're even talking about. Okay, because they do not know the power of the body. They do not know the power of you. They do not know you. Right? And if we're able to make changes and we're able to make transformations take place, we're going to be in a much better place. Okay? So Nikki, I will go ahead and work with your father. His name is Guy. Okay? So macular degeneration, we will look into his eyesight. Okay? He said he gets painful shots directly into his eyes, right? So we'll look into the nature of eyesight. And what I would suggest, Nikki, is grabbing him a pair of the visor sunglasses, okay? And the eye masks should be here in a few days as well, too. Once that's up, that would be a second thing I'd recommend grabbing. Visor sunglasses and the eye masks. So they both have the same codes in them, okay? They're both equally powerful. All right, so I will go ahead and connect with Guy. Let me just grab one of my pendulums here. I think I'm going to use this one. Okay, and I do plan on doing the 101 of the resonant dowsing here very soon. Like I said, I was planning on doing that a while ago. It's just, I've been flustered with so much work, guys, and I'm not even kidding. There's been so much demand in my time. So I'm going to try and, now that I have some holidays, I'll see what I can do to have some time to do that as well, too. Okay, so let's go ahead and work together with Guy. So Nikki, I'm just going to take a moment. I'm just going to be tuning into Guy's vibration through you. Okay, there we go. Got his wavelength. All right. So I'm just going to take a moment and I'm just going to be concentrating on his eyes and his brain and his spinal cord. Okay. So one moment. Okay. So Nikki, I just went ahead and just took away a lot of that debris within his body. So not just with the eyes, but also with his brain, with his spinal cord, also with his nervous system as well too. Okay, so all of that debris will be leaving him. All right. So what you can do, Nikki, is just continue to send him love, right? This is where, again, it's such a precious moment when you're asking for healing for your family member, because then you're really tuning in. This is your own assignment, Nikki, and I really want you to do this if possible, okay? I want you to think of the most monumental moments you've ever had with your father, right? I want you to think of the most monumental moments where you just felt the most deepest love for him. And I want you to saturate that love right into his eyes, right into his brain, right into his spinal cord, right into his nervous system, okay? If you can do that, you're also going to be adding to helping him recover, okay? So that's your assignment. I would like you to do that. And you can always let me know how that goes. So spirit healing has been sent to him, but I want you to do your part as well too. Okay? Thank you very much, Nikki. All right, let's go down the list here. So this one, next one is from Sunny Days. So Sunny Days says, Brad, I have a traumatic brain injury, and I feel that I'm having problems integrating the higher energies. Can you help me, please? Okay. So yes, we can work with that. Basically, I'll just be working on the entire brain, right? So I'll be working on the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the medulla oblongata. Like I said, the spinal cord and the nervous system as well too, okay? So that, again, is really what I'd suggest. If any of you guys have any brain problems, don't just work on the brain, right? Work on the spinal cord and work on the nervous system, okay? The nervous system is part of the brain. The spinal cord is part of the brain. And that's exactly what you need to work with too. So that's the entire unit of the cranial brain. Okay, we have two other brains here. We have the solar plexus brain, or we could call it the abdominal brain, and then we have the intestinal brain. Okay, in Chinese Qigong, this is also referred to as the three dantians: lower dantian, middle dantian, upper dantian. Okay, the three brains, the three minds, the three elixir fields. All right, but really, when we're working on any kind of brain condition, for those of you who are healers, you need to bring your awareness to the entirety of the brain, to the spinal cord, and to the nervous system. Okay, that is the entirety of the brain, the cranial brain unit. Okay, not all the brains, but that one. Anyways, yes, sunny days, I will go ahead and help you out with that. Okay, so let me just reattach my pendulum here. I'll be connecting with your energy momentarily, and then I'll move on to CC Love after that and helping her with her daughter Anissa. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to connect with your vibration now. Sunny days, I'll just refer to you as Sunny. Okay, vibration is connected, and we'll go ahead and begin. Om. Okay, deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, so Sunny, as you were saying that you were concerned about integrating the higher energies, so can you help me please? So really what I want you to do, Sunny, is I want you just to keep Om chanting, okay? I want you to do more and more Om chanting, right? Just Om chant as much as you can, and I want you to bring that into the awareness of your brain, spinal cord, and nervous system, okay? All I want you to do is Om chant. I don't care if you're doing the dishes, right? If you're doing the dishes, you're Om chanting, either out loud or in your mind, right? Om. Okay, and I want you to put feeling into the Om. You're not doing this. Om, 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 Om. No. Okay? I want you to put feeling into the Oms, whether you're either doing it verbally or whether you're doing it internally. Om. Okay? And I want you to direct that into your brain. And as if you know the area in that sense of the brain that is compromised, then that's the area that you concentrate on. But I want you to feel it like a ripple effect, right? There's ground zero, and it's just rippling throughout the entire brain. It's rippling throughout the entire spinal cord and through all of the nerves in the body. Okay, so like a little ripple effect as you're doing each and every single Om. Sunny days, that is your assignment. Okay, so let me know how things go over the next few days. Okay, you guys can always email me. Go to newarkteachings.com, go to the contact page. You can always drop me a message there if you like. If you want, you don't have to. It's up to you. Okay, thank you, Sunny. Let's go now to CC Love. So CC says, please send healing to my daughter, Anissa. Okay, so I don't know what kind of healing you're asking for, but so what we'll do is we're just going to send love to her. I also don't know what your daughter's going through, okay? So like I said, it'll just be kind of a general love healing, so I won't really need this for her. We're just going to be sending love and just putting spirit light upon her. Just filling her with the source center vibration, I think would be the best thing, because I didn't get any other details, okay? So I'm just going to take a moment now just to connect with Anissa, just putting my intention to connect with her without the pendulum. Okay, so again, what you guys see me doing here is the source center vibration gesture. As soon as you do this gesture, you are radiating the source center vibration through your field. Okay, so this is something you guys can do with me if you want, and if you want to send love to Anissa as well too. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Remember guys, everyone is us, right? The love and the compassion that you give to someone else is the love and the compassion that you're giving to yourself. All right, so let's begin now. Okay, so just sent saturation of source center vibration to your daughter Anissa, Cece. All right, so thank you very much. In the future, if you want to let me know more about what she's going through and how I can help further, you can always drop me an email as well. All right, thank you very much. Okay, guys, so that's going to wrap up our 3 requests. Actually, let me do the 4th request here. This is from Al. Al just came through. He says, I have a stubborn cough. Can you help? So good timing, Al. We were just about to wrap up. Okay, so yes, I'll do this for L very quickly, okay, because we are running out of time, because I do still want to do a group healing with you guys. Okay, so L, I just want you once again to be aware of not just so much of the cough itself, like within the lungs, but again, we also want to look at the entire chest. We also want to look at your nervous system, okay? I also want to look at your stomach, okay? So your stomach, your lungs, your whole chest, and again, your nervous system, okay? And we're going to work together on that. If you guys are sick out of any condition, right? I don't even care if you have a bad knee, right? If you do connect to an organ, the stomach is the one that you should be connecting to first. The stomach is the very first organ to get contaminated. I've already been doing a couple of dozen full body healing sessions, okay? And almost every single person that I've scanned so far has a bad stomach, okay? Not everybody, but there's quite a few that's coming up. I'd say it happens about 85 to 90% of the time. Person's stomach is in bad condition, right? They got bad stomach acid, their glands are swollen in their stomach, right? They're constantly just have degradation going on in the stomach. So for healers, you got to work with your stomach, okay? So one organ, if we are doing any kind of organ healing, it needs to start with the stomach. If you have a bad cough, got to be the stomach first, then the lungs second, and then we'll work together with the chest, the diaphragm, the nervous system. Okay, and I'll probably work with the throat as well too, right? Making sure that the thyroid is good and the larynx is good for you, Al. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. So just tuning into L's frequency now. So I'm just demonstrating the pendulum. I don't really need the pendulum, but I do it for demonstration purposes here, so you guys can see. That you guys will learn as well too when I do the 101 course. Okay. All right, let's go. I'm not going to be taking any more healing requests, guys. We're pretty much out of time here pretty quick, okay? So I appreciate you guys wanting to do donations. I just don't have any time left, okay? Al is the last one, and I'm going to see if I can really quickly do a group healing. I don't know if I have time for that, so we'll see, okay? Let's go. Okay. So L, you should be able to recover very quickly from that cough. Okay, a lot of work is being done on you. So again, just similar advice I gave to Sunny, I would be giving to you. I want you to do some Om chanting, okay? And I want you to do Om chanting in your stomach first. And through your stomach, I want you to feel that rippling throughout your whole body, okay? So yes, going into your lungs, going into the chest, going into the nervous system, right? Going up into your throat, into the thyroid, and into the larynx, okay? So just a ripple effect of that Om chant. Exact instructions I gave to Sunny. That's what I'd recommend to you too, L, okay? Thank you very much. Okay, Jilly, I'm sorry guys, I just don't have any time left. I do have to wrap things up here very, very quickly. So I want to try and do a very, very quick group healing. So Jilly, if you want, you can contact me. I don't know if I'm going to have any time to do any healing right now. So you can contact me regarding your son, Bo. You said he's been sick and suffering for about 15 years. So this is something a little bit more serious, Jilly, and I need a little bit more information from you, okay? So I'd like you to email me. Go to newearthteachings.com and go to contact, right? If you're saying he's been sick and suffering for 15 years, then the work I'm going to do right now may not be that appropriate. I want a little bit more details about what he's been going through, okay? So if you can send that to me, and if you know that this is a very urgent situation, I'll do what I can to set a little bit of time to helping out your son, okay? Please email me, newearthteachings.com, go to the contact page, please give me details, okay? And then I'll see if I can set some time aside here within the next couple of days and help you out with that, okay? No problem. Thank you. All right, so quick healing, guys. This is exactly what we were doing last time pertaining to the forgiveness ball, right? If you guys remember that. I believe we did that just last Friday, okay? So all I want you to do right now is just give yourself a quick scan, okay? Just being aware of how you're feeling. How did this morning go? How did last night go? How did yesterday go? How did last week go? Are you just detecting anything there that was pretty troublesome, okay? I want you just to be aware of that, right? Just be aware of your past week and be aware of how your body is feeling right now, okay? I want you to bring your hands together and just give them a good rub, counting from 1 to 10, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 8 1,000, 9 1,000, 10 1,000, okay? And I want you now just to open up the ball just a little bit. And as it's opening up, I want you to feel all of those physical, emotional, mental tendencies that you were feeling just coming into the ball as you're expanding it. Okay? As you're expanding it more and more, as you're filling it up with all of this debris, right? Physical, emotional, mental debris, right? You're just being aware of it. We're not having a fight or flight response, okay? We're just accepting the debris as it is. We're just bringing it into the ball, okay? And you're just expanding it until you feel you do not need to expand it anymore, okay? And then you stop. And now we're just going to slowly bring it in. And all I'm going to say is just forgiveness, forgiveness. And I really want you to put your feelings into that when you're saying forgiveness, 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 forgiveness. Forgiveness, 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 forgiveness. And as you're putting them together in this prayer posture, I want you just to put it up into the sky, right? Forgiveness, and let it out, okay? So it's kind of like there's that intuitive impulse just to open up your hands and just let it go, right? It's all been dissolved. And you're just bringing it back up into the ether, okay? And just forgiveness, okay? Go ahead and do that now. It's a very, very powerful healing, right? If a lot of you guys wanted to come see me today to do some healing sessions and you didn't make it, then this is what I suggest you do. Work with the forgiveness ball, okay? Like I said, I do have sessions available on my website. Like I said, it's the holiday season right now, so I'm not really doing any, but you can always plan ahead, all right? So that is the group healing today. That is New Earth TV Live. I'm a little bit late. I do have to get going. All right. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here today. And I'll talk to you next week, next Thursday on the Signpost Live, and next Friday for another episode of New Earth TV Live. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaskar. May it be well with you. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to New Earth Teachings on YouTube. Don't forget to check out our websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can do private sessions with me, and also AETHERX.co. And through AETHERX, you'll be able to pick up your Healing Code Cards body deck, your mind deck, and your energy deck through AETHERX. You will also be able to pick up the Etherbed kit. That is also on AETHERX as well. Not to mention that you'll also be able to pick up some apparel and accessories that is also available on AETHERX. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one. Om Shanti 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 Namaskar, and may it be well with you.